Now, superfood to me is all about making great tasting food that just so happens to be good for you. Quick cooking is one thing, but I want to take it up a notch and bring you a new playbook of recipes that do just that.
I'll show you how to create easy-to-follow dishes that are perfect for your busy life.
Eating healthy doesn't have to be boring, and there's a world of flavour ready to be discovered. Sometimes you just have to jump in. These recipes are designed to work for you, and they're ready in under half an hour, with some great shortcuts that'll make cooking for the week a breeze. So if you're strapped for time,
And if the idea of eating better sounds good, I've got a serious selection of game-changing recipes.
making your food super every day. On tonight's Superfood in Minutes menu, we're making things easy. One-pan dishes are the order of the day, and this chowder saves on washing up, but it doesn't skimp on flavour.
This is one you're going to want to make.
A cheeky twist on an Italian classic.
I'm going to do something slightly controversial. I'm going to make courgette.
Aromatic noodles that are the perfect weeknight pick-me-up. A warm bacon and egg salad. And another 5-minute challenge that's hopefully ready in no time.
Janie back a little breath at this point.
A succulent lineup with something to please everyone.
Kicking things off is my one-pan tomato and bean chowder, bursting with rich tomato flavours, lots of veggies, and ready in about 10 minutes flat. How about that?
Get a pan on a high heat and add a good glug of olive oil. Next, get in there with some chopped onion, carrot and celery. Season with salt and pepper, give it a stir and let it sweat for a bit. Now the Italians call this a sofrito, and it's the starting point for so many great deep flavoured dishes. Next up, it's vegetable stock and the passata. Stir and let it come to a steady simmer. Add the cannellini beans and then carefully place in the haddock. Cover and cook for just 5 minutes, and that's it. Serve it up warm with generous chunks of fish and some fresh basil for that fragrant aromatic hit.
Chicken for dinner is always a crowd pleaser, and my chicken parmesan is a speedy twist on an Italian classic, with a few sneaky veggies added in for good measure. Chicken parmesan is an absolute American-Italian classic, and it's serious comfort food. But for a midweek meal, I think it's important we lighten it up. So I'm going to start off with some chicken fillets, and we're going to get these fried off. Now, typically, it's all about the cheese and the breadcrumb coating, but we're going to lighten things up a little bit by skipping the stage of breadcrumbing our chicken, and we're just going to get it fried off in a pan. So straight in with a little bit of oil. And for my chicken, I'm actually using little chicken breast fillets. So these are the smaller little ones. They're nice kind of bite-sized pieces. It means that you get a little bit more on your plate and you get more opportunity to brown up these little pieces of chicken. Once that temperature comes up in the pan, add a little bit of salt and pepper. And if you add the pepper in the pan, it starts to toast up, and then you get a nice base coating of beautiful pepper and salt. So just place this chicken all the way across the base of the pan, and we're going to season it on top as well. Chicken's in, give the hands a quick wash.
Season with sea salt and black pepper and let that chicken fry.
I know I go on about this, but this is a perfect example of when you add meat to a pan, do not touch it until it's ready to turn. And the way you know it's ready to turn is just to go in with the tongs and give it a little push around and see if it's sticking. The minute it starts to come loose means that it's ready to be flipped. So just turn it once it's nice and golden brown. Right, while this is cooking away, I'm going to do something slightly controversial. I'm going to make courgette. Now, stick with me. Courgette is worthwhile making, and in this particular situation, it's going to be adding lots and lots of nutrition to this chicken parmesan, which typically wouldn't have it. So top it and tail it. And these little spiralizer kind of gadget devices you can get in most kitchen shops, or you can get it online. So just pop it down on the center, and then you're going to get twisting. But if you don't have one of these, you could easily slice this into batons and just add them to the pan. But I do like that idea that you're kind of getting your chicken parmesan with a bit of spaghetti on the side. But good for you, spaghetti. Now, we've got our courgette ready to go, so I'm going to get this straight in the pan. And also, in alongside this, I want to bring some of that American Italian classic flavour. So in with about a teaspoon or so of dried oregano. Now it's time to get in there with the tongs and just give that a toss through. So as soon as that courgette starts to soften down a little bit, it's time to bring a bit of Italian sauce to the mix. So I have some really good quality tomato passata. This is a fantastic store cupboard ingredient because I use it for so many things. You can poach eggs in it. You can use it for pizza bases or in a dish just like this. So really versatile ingredients. Put this straight in there. Give it a quick stir just so that it completely coats the contents of the pan. This is where you want to be, bubbling, rich tomato sauce, all that chicken getting nice and tender in the steam that it's created, and extra vibrance and nutrients from the courgette that we've added in here. Now it's time to build this classic chicken parmesan vibe. So to this, we're going to add some parmesan and some mozzarella. And even though we didn't breadcrumb up our chicken and fry it off and make it all golden, we are going to add some breadcrumbs here just to give a little bit of crisp and a little bit of crunch when it goes under the grill. So let's grate this up. Okay, that should do us. I've got some panko breadcrumbs, those Japanese air-dried breadcrumbs. Just sprinkle them over the top. To this, we've got our mozzarella balls. Just work your way around the pan with them. And of course, the saltiness from the parmesan as well. And a last little sprinkle of breadcrumbs just over the top that are going to crunch up under the grill. Little sprinkle of oregano. And that, my friends, is ready to go into the oven under a really hot grill just until that cheese has a chance to bubble and the breadcrumbs have crisped up. Now this is what I'm talking about. Have a look at that gorgeous golden bubbling cheese and tender, tender pieces of chicken and courgette. Right, I'm sorry, but we're just gonna have to dig in as it is. I'm gonna ruin things a little bit, but here we go. Little bits of that courgette have just kind of crisped up around the sides. You got lovely cheesy action here. I feel like I'm gonna burn the mouth off me, but stick with it. Kind of hot. Oh my goodness. That is a serious chicken parmesan. It's lighter, it's fresher, it's got all those gorgeous bits of courgette in there. It's still crispy and bubbling and golden, and most importantly, cheesy. This is one you're going to want to make. I rarely have time to cook lunch, so one of my favorite things to do is to use leftovers and add a new sauce or dip to jazz it up and give it a bit of flavor.
It's easy to transform those on-the-go lunches with a little bit of prep. Try this yogurt dip for start. Just grab a few tablespoons of natural yogurt, add a teaspoon of turmeric, and finish it off with a good helping of tahini. Leave that aside and give this orange and harissa sauce a whirl. Grate the zest of the orange and add some harissa paste. Then grate in a whole clove of garlic along with the juice of the orange. For an even zestier kick, add in a splash of lemon juice and a good glug of olive oil to bring it all together. That is some serious flavour right there. Now the last one is a real flavour maker. Finely slice a red onion and then start by toasting off some cumin seeds. Get a little oil over the onions and make sure that you don't burn the seeds. Sprinkle them in on top of the onions. Lastly, a splash of white wine vinegar to cut through all those strong flavours, a bit of time to marinate, and you've got yourself a flavour maker. Now that's 3 killer condiments to funk up the flavour of your midweek meals, all made in minutes and will keep in the fridge for days.
In my book, breakfast for dinner is always a win. So take 2 breakfast classics and give them a superfood twist with a tasty French salad.
We're starting this one off with some water on the boil and some oil going into a frying pan. Add the bacon to the pan and let it fry. Now, top tip for this recipe is to pop a dash of white wine vinegar into the water and give it a stir. The force of the flow of the pan helps keep the egg together and form a perfect poach. Repeat the process with a few more eggs. When the bacon is ready, scoop it out of the pan into a bowl with the lettuce. Leave the heat on the pan and scatter over the bread cubes. While they toast, soaking up all the juices from the bacon, chop up some tarragon and mix it with some mustard, white wine vinegar and season with sea salt and black pepper. Give it all a good whisk up and then emulsify with some good quality olive oil. Pour it over the salad and then we're on to final flourishes. Some freshly chopped chives, a good toss and plate it up. Add the croutons and the egg and get it onto the table hot. Oh yeah. Still to come, some next level noodles that will really hit the spot.
Now, this is what I'm talking about.
And of course, I'll be taking on the 5-minute meal challenge.
And look at that really gorgeous sticky action going on here.
This is my superfood in minutes. Perfect for food lovers and for those of you who want delicious, healthy meals without the fuss.
Time for pork drunken noodles. Now, don't be fooled by the name. This is fresh, spiky, salty, and satisfying, while also still packing a veggie punch and not a drop of booze in sight. Pork drunken noodles gets all its flavour from a combination of 3 core ingredients. We've got some oyster sauce, a little bit of soy sauce, and my favourite, fish sauce. On their own, each of these is a really strong flavour, but together they combine to create this gorgeous hit of umami, that extra flavour, that saltiness, that kind of headiness, which is so gorgeous. I'm just going to combine these in a little glass jar, and it's this magic elixir of sauces that is going to bring these pork drunken noodles to life. The great thing about all these sauces is that most of them will sit in your store cupboard ready for use and they'll last for a really long time. So it's worthwhile getting your hands on them. And now that we have this mixed together, I'm just going to give it a whisk up. And this is now ready to bring this whole dish together. So I'll leave this aside. We have some noodles. I've got some flat rice noodles straight into a pot of boiling water. I'm going to turn off the heat and let them soak just until they're nice and tender. Veggies. We have a combination of some baby sweet corn. I've got some bok choy and I have some spice from some chilies I'm going to add in here. The great thing about this recipe is it's a perfect one to use up whatever veggies you have in the fridge. I'm using baby sweet corn and bok choy, but any greens will work here once you have them nice and finely sliced, which is exactly what we need to do with these boys. So with our bok choy, I'm going to slice these up into kind of quarters. So you get a bit of the leaf and you also get a nice bit of the core too. So you've got a nice pile of bok choy. I'm just going to take some of these baby sweet corn and slice them in half. It's great colour and it's great crunch. Well worth adding. Okay, veggies are looking good. For a little bit of spice, I've got 3 gorgeous bird's eye chilies. Now, do track these down because they are seriously spicy, and if you like spicy food like I do, they're the ones to add. You're going to go fine slice on these. 6 garlic cloves, finely sliced.
Get some oil in a pan on a high heat. While that comes up to temp, drain the noodles. Grab the garlic and chili and get it frying. Toss in the sweet corn and the pak choy and give it all a good toss.
Now, this is what I'm talking about. All that prep now comes together really quickly. I've got my bok choy, I've got my chili, my garlic, all that gorgeous sweet corn, and it's all taking on a bit of colour. It's charring up in the pan, but also it's softening down, and that bok choy is really going to reduce down. And once it has, that's when you know it's time to add the noodles and add the sauce. Okay, we're in a good place with our veggies, so transfer them out. Right, Veggies cooked, noodles cooked. Let's talk about our pork. I have a nice pork loin fillet, and I'm just very quickly going to slice this into medallions. If you have one that has a little bit too much of this sinew, you're just going to slice that off, just using a sharp knife. As a cut of meat, this pork loin fillet is quite a versatile one, and it works in so many different recipes, but it particularly works well with all those gorgeous umami flavors from the soy sauce, the fish sauce, and that oyster sauce. Now, when you're wok frying, important that you don't overcrowd the pan. So this to me looks like I need to do it in 2 batches. So I'm gonna add a little more oil to the pan, and we're gonna lay in about half that meat mix. Get in there, and you're looking for a nice bit of browning.
When it's brown and starting to catch, toss the first batch onto the veg and go again for another round, keeping as much of the oil in the pan as possible.
Right, pork is looking good. We've got our veggies. They're going straight back into the pan with my little second batch of pork. And now it's time to bring all of this together. Straight in with those noodles. And now our magic elixir, that umami hit of soy sauce, oyster sauce, and a little bit of fish sauce. This all goes straight over the top. And just to bring it together with a little bit of sweetness, I've got a teaspoon of sugar. The sugar not only adds sweetness, but it'll help to thicken this sauce. So give it a sprinkle all the way over, and now it's time to toss. Just let that sauce kind of bubble away and coat those noodles, but this is pretty much done and good to go.
To amp up the Asian flavors, add a few fresh Thai basil leaves and serve it up steaming hot and fragrant.
Now, it would be rude not to give this a go and try some straight out of the pan. Just add a little bit of Thai basil. It's one of those ingredients that makes a dish like this, so if you can track it down, it's so worthwhile adding. Powerhouse of flavor. 15 minutes, fresh, tasty, and seriously spicy. Yum.
That's 4 recipes that will really shake up your meal times. Packed full of goodness and fresh flavors that I really hope you'll try. Still to come, a twisted tabbouleh and a great way to cook halloumi cheese.
It's the 5-minute meal challenge, and today I have an absolute belter. This is a gorgeous sticky halloumi with a tabbouleh salad, and it is phenomenal to make. Really simple, really quick, and we are going to get 5 minutes on the clock. Let's click start, and let's get cooking. Right, first job, let's get some stuff out of the fridge. I got some spring onions, some cucumber, and some halloumi cheese. If you've not cooked with this, it is a spectacular ingredient that is quite unusual in that you cook cheese. It goes nice and squeaky when you cook it, and we're just going to slice it into kind of about half a centimetre pieces. About half this block should do us quite nicely for an individual portion. We're going to get the pan on nice and hot with a little bit of oil going in here. This is a bit of a cheats tabbouleh because we are going to use cauliflower rice rather than couscous. So I'm going to add some key ingredients in here, which are some cucumber, some spring onion, a little bit of sun-dried tomato, and some fresh herbs, some parsley and mint. So slice your cucumber in half, and then we're going to basically clack this into nice chunks. Clack is an interesting word that I didn't think I'd be using in this 5-minute meal challenge, but there you go. You never know what's going to come out when you're alive like this. So nice little pieces of cucumber is what we're looking for here. Our oil is coming up to temperature, so I'm going to get our halloumi in just once I have this sliced into pieces. Straight in there with our halloumi, and if it's not sizzling, it's not hot enough. So make sure that you have a sizzling hot pan before you get your halloumi in there. Otherwise, you're not going to get gorgeous golden brown on this. So back to our cucumber, just nice little cubes of your cucumber here. So this is really where you can kind of mix it up and use whatever veggies you have. Just slice them up nice and fine, and they go in really nicely with this cauliflower rice. To a bowl, we've got our cucumber. We're going to get in there with our herbs as well, because otherwise I'm going to forget. So it's straight in there with some mint leaves and a little bit of flat leaf parsley as well. So just basically break those herbs in there. Stalks, don't worry about them if they're too hardy, you can leave them out. Otherwise, if they're nice and fine like these, I've just kept them in. So back to our spring onions, slice off the ends and slice off the tops, get rid of any little rubber bands, and then we're just going to slice these into nice little rounds. So gives you that kind of fresh bite, and I do think adding a little bit of raw spring onion in here is just really quite nice. The great thing about this recipe is that it works quite well as a lunchbox filler. Even if you have the halloumi cold, it still has loads of flavor, and the great thing about it is that we're gonna do a little trick that's gonna make things a little bit more interesting. I've got 2 minutes and 42 seconds on the clock. I'm gonna try and get my halloumi turned. So let's get over here, and we're just gonna pop these very gently over. Look at that, gorgeous golden, a little bit more than I would possibly like, but hey, we've got 5 minutes on the clock, you gotta keep going. Turn that heat down, go in there, this is the trick. Get in there with a little bit of balsamic vinegar, about a teaspoon or so, in there with some sweet honey. This is gonna give you this gorgeous, sticky, acidic glaze, and just get shuffling in the pan. This is where it's at, and this is where you're gonna get really different and altogether gorgeous halloumi. Now, let's talk about our cauliflower. This is a really great way with cauliflower. If you have a beautiful piece or head of cauliflower like this, we're just gonna take off the edges, any of those stalks, and we're gonna turn this into what will be our couscous. With 1 minute and 59 seconds on the clock, this is the key pieces of kitchen equipment you're gonna need. A little box grater, and you're gonna just rub that up against the sort of wide setting, and look at that gorgeous little cauliflower rice that you've done in no time at all. You don't need a food processor, you don't need to buy it from the shops. You've done it all by hand. You can pat yourself on the back after this and know you've done a good job. It might feel like it's a strange thing to have raw cauliflower, but I can promise you it's the bite and it's the sort of that rawness that is quite nice with brassica in general, which works quite well here. So little bit of cauliflower rice. I'm kind of getting that all over the counter with 1 minute and 24 seconds to go, but I promise you, this really does leave you with a really interesting tabbouleh. So grate up as much as you can. With the time I have left, I'm gonna turn off the heat on this before it goes completely on it. Give it a quick toss and look at that really gorgeous sticky action going on here. We're gonna get in there. Oh, JD Mac, hold on to it. Get your lovely rice in there. We're gonna get our tomatoes in as well. Where have they gone? Oh my goodness, they're in a bowl. So we're gonna slice these up. Take those sun-dried tomatoes and just give them a little rattle through till you have nice little slices. These are a powerhouse of flavor, a really great superfood in minutes. Right, we've got loads of great things going on there, but I do need to dress this. My pan is off at this point, so we've got sticky halloumi. We've got 42 seconds left. We've got a little bit of lemon juice to go in here. Where's my lemons? Oh my goodness, they're over here, hang on. Right, a little squeeze of this for a bit of acidity is gonna help you. So get that sliced up and you're gonna squeeze this through your hands just so that you don't get any pits. 27 seconds. Janie Mac, I'm out of breath at this point. But it's time to serve up. So get your plate out, grab up a spoon and give it a good toss through. Little salt and pepper, don't forget your seasoning, otherwise there's no point. So give it a good toss through and look at that, great flavors, great vibrancy. 9 seconds, stick with me lads, stick with me. So get that onto your plate. We're out of time in 3, 2, 1, but just about there. Everything's cooked, so stick with me. We're gonna add this last little bit of sticky halloumi over the top. You can just imagine what that tastes like. Beautiful acidity, great little sweetness, and then that salty kick from the halloumi. Have a look at that. This is a real winner, and it's something that I hope you try. Please give it a go. That is my gorgeous sticky halloumi salad with a gorgeous tabbouleh. It's an absolute winner. Give it a try.
That is 5 speedy, satisfying recipes for you to try this week. Next week, there's another fab 5 dishes to get your teeth into. A cheeky chickpea pasta, 2 chicken recipes that are oh so good, and a cracking salmon that's packed full of flavour. And of course, I'm going to be attempting another 5-minute meal challenge. A steak supper in a flash.
This is what we're after. Sauciness, noodle action, veggies, all the beautiful things coming together.